Sorrento, the jewel of southern Italy and the perfect base for exploring this stunning region. But how can you make the most of just 3 days here? In this video, I'll take you through our honeymoon itinerary, from cobbled streets and pizza at a local farm to the ancient ruins of Pompeii, with tips and tricks to help you along the way. Sorrento has drawn visitors since Roman times, later becoming famous for its lemons and dramatic cliffs. Even Charles Dickens wrote about the place in the 1840s, and it still carries the same timeless charm today. We flew into Naples, which is the closest airport, and from there you have a few options. You can either take a ferry, a bus, a train, or a private transfer like we did, which takes about an hour and is the easiest if you're carrying a lot of luggage. When it comes to accommodation, I really recommend staying in the historic centre. We stayed in a very small B&B in the heart of Sorrento with just 4 rooms, stone walls dating back to the 16th century. On arrival, we were welcomed with complimentary drinks and a dessert for our honeymoon. That evening, we wandered the streets, browsed little shops, and eventually found a restaurant glowing with fairy lights. Dinner was pure Sorrento. I had gnocchi alla sorrentina, which is like baked in tomato and mozzarella, and we had fresh sea bass with potatoes. A perfect first evening. So what does a perfect day in Sorrento look like? For us, it started slow and ended with the best pizza I've ever had. Breakfast at the B&B was simple but delicious, with fresh homemade pastries, and then we walked out for a nice coffee. Afterwards, we travelled down to the Marina, where colourful boats bob against the backdrop of Sorrento's cliffs. It's a peaceful spot and perfect for relaxing and walking around. Later, we picked up some snacks and some local cheese from a shop, keeping lunch light because we had something special planned that evening. After an Aperol Spritz and a Coke, we waited to be collected to go on our excursion. We booked a pizza making class on a farm through Get Your Guide. The family bought the farm 11 years ago and now produce their own wine, olive oil and limoncello. Then came the highlight, learning how to make pizza the Italian way. We followed a recipe that had been in the family for generations. I quickly realised I'd been using the wrong yeast forever. Once risen, our host gave us fantastic advice of how to shape the dough properly with your hands before letting us add the sauce, cheese, and a drizzle of olive oil. Pulling out a bubbling, charred pizza that tasted incredible was unforgettable. Honestly, it was the best pizza of my life, and if you want to try it yourself, book early. These small group classes fill up quickly, but I've put the information in the comments below. What's it like to step into a city that's been frozen in time for nearly 2,000 years? On our final day, we walked from the historic centre to Sorrento station to catch the train to Pompeii. I'll admit I had a little panic when we hadn't pre-booked one of those expensive tours you can book online, but it turns out you actually don't need to. At the station, you can simply buy a return ticket plus a guided tour package for around €48 per person. The journey takes about 45 minutes and Pompeii Scavi station drops you right outside the entrance. Having a guided tour is absolutely worth it in my opinion, and if I had to be 100% honest, I wouldn't know exactly what I'm looking at all the time without that guided expertise. With earpieces you can wander around at your own pace while still hearing the stories of how the people lived their lives. And the history is extraordinary. In AD 79, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the city in ash and preserving daily life almost exactly as it was. We walked through ancient streets, stepped inside villas decorated with mosaics, and saw the haunting plaster casts of people caught in the eruption. Top tip, wear really good footwear. I was a bit of an idiot and just came in flip-flops, and because the road is cobbled and it's very uneven, it was difficult to walk. And remember, the whole site is huge, so you might not be able to cover everything in one day. Just have a look at a map and see what you want to prioritise. When we got back to Sorrento, we found a lovely garden restaurant which served pizza, the perfect way to finish off the day as we were starving. But before I wrap up the whole trip, here are a few things I wish I'd known. First, Sorrento is an excellent base if you want to explore further. From here, you can catch a ferry to Capri or take a day trip along the Amalfi Coast to places like Positano or Amalfi. But even if you want to stay local, there's more than enough to enjoy. Secondly, taxis are expensive, so staying in the town makes life much easier. You'll be able to walk to the excursion meeting points or to the train and bus stations. And finally, don't rush. Enjoy the limoncello, the shopping and the slow pace. That's where Sorrento's magic really is. For us, it was the perfect beginning to our honeymoon and a place I'd 100% recommend. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Suitcase Society for more travel guides and stay tuned for our next film along the Amalfi Coast.